Craig,
I don't have one.
you don't have one. But what do we have today?
We've got golf pro legend Derek Deminski
Ooh.
with just the tips.
Oh, let's get in, rub that on our neck, and smell it.
Let's.
Buckle up. It's the Insurance Dudes Podcast.
Oh, there he is.
What's going on?
How's it going?
Doing
Yeah,
pull-ups.
hard, man. You guys are good at this.
Doing some
Yeah. Hey, so how you doing?
Great. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
You are our first golf pro.
All right. Awesome. Hopefully not your last, but I'm definitely honored.
It can't
Yeah,
be
well-
because there's one thing about insurance agents. They love golf.
That's true. That's absolutely true. I know quite a few.
I bet.
And a lot of pros who can't quite make it anymore just go into insurance, actually. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Ah,
So Derek, you're here in Tucson, in T-Town, the old Pueblo, the naked Pueblo, the whatever other words there are for it. And
called
so
the Naked Pueblo.
I've heard it called the naked Pueblo. I think the Frank Show calls it the naked Pueblo.
Never heard that, but that's cool.
Do you listen to the Frank Show?
Frank, I don't know Frank.
No, it's world famous, just like the world famous insurance dudes.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, we have a listener on every continent.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
One.
just
One on every continent. That's it.
Australia has one, although we're interviewing somebody from Australia this afternoon, so we will likely have two.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
That's growing at a nice pace.
It really is. It really is. It really is. So I'm sure when I first reached out, you're like, "What? It's called Insurance Dudes." But I think that there is a lot of what we talk about, and a lot of what we go into is the marketing and the sales, and then hiring, which isn't really connected here. But you on Instagram have really blown up, right? And I'd love for you to tell the audience here about that, like how you got into Instagram and how you did what you do, and obviously a little background on yourself too. Be great.
Yeah, sure. So I'm from Minneapolis, just north of Minneapolis in Rogers, Minnesota. Played a bunch of other sports, got into golf eventually, and then my brother got a job at TMC down here, and I was just going to move down here to kind of do the golf thing half time and then go back home where I had a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up sticking it out down here and worked for the 49er Country Club. I don't know if you guys have been out there at all. Did like the head pro gig, kind of worked for the club. And then I really found that I enjoyed teaching the most. So teaching the game, playing the game, those are my passions. It wasn't really being behind the desk, even though we have a ton of great members and people there, but not really doing the operational side. More of the one-on-one individual classes. That's really where my passion lied. Now, what ended up happening is, I kind of knew I wanted to get into some social media stuff about 5-6 years ago. I built a website, golfbettertucson.com, to kind of help market some things. And really just luckily, I got in on Instagram kind of in the earlier stages when some of the earlier golf guys got in. If you know George Gankus, he's a good friend of mine. If you go to like George Gankus Golf, he's fantastic. And a bunch of other guys who got in early, it seemed to really help us grow compared to, there's a ton of guys in it now. So getting in on it early was huge. And I really just got lucky. I wanted to do Facebook. I do some Facebook, I do some YouTube, do some Twitter. But I spent more of my time on Instagram, and luckily I know it's kind of been the one to go above Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, really, as far as I think users and kind of people in my generation. So I really kind of lucked out there. But really that's kind of how it all began.
Do you think that choosing that platform is specific to the different demographics? Like,
yes.
You went with Insta because you're
Absolutely. Yeah, and you'll kind of see it. Instagram's kind of more my age. Obviously, there's everyone on every platform. Facebook, if you guys do all, it's you kind of get some really unique responses from some older people who don't really know how to use it. And, what's happening? And I'm like, well, you're commenting on my video. Like, I would hope you kind of know what's going on. And then Twitter for celebrities to kind of tweet stuff. It's not as easy to get engagement there. I wasn't on that as early as some of the other popular Twitter golf pros.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it really kind of works well with golf. It was 15-second videos early on, so you could do a little bit of video, and then it's expanded to minute videos on the platform, and then you can do the IGTV that's longer. So it really tends to be great for what golf instruction can bring to the table.
Jason focuses a lot on MySpace.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah, you and Tom. Yeah, where's Tom at? I heard he was in Area 51. That's what they were saying. MySpace was in Area 51. I just heard that.
Well, I decided to go back to Friendster because really where it all began.
I think you're getting in on it at the right time, potentially.
Right. When he logs in through his Net Zero straight into Friendster.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. But I love how you've used, so when did you first start? When was Instagram you said near the beginning. I can't even remember when, is it 2010, 2011?
I remember some friends on it. I got into it, I'd say about, 5 years ago is one of my
2014.
first. And it's, I get a lot of people to say, how did you kind of get where you are? And I just say, go look at my first post. It sucks. It's just the worst. But I just wanted to put some stuff up, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I just knew that it was kind of an easy platform where I could just put some stuff up. Also, what's nice about it now, and I don't know if it had it at the time, but you can connect your Facebook and Twitter on there. So if you post once on Instagram, it kind of filters through. So it's kind of an easier way to bring your media to other platforms as well, which was nice at that time. So yeah, about 5-6 years ago is when I got in on it myself.
And you were doing video back then?
Yeah, so I do some YouTube videos. I knew I wanted to get I love to teach in Tucson, but I wanted to kind of expand what I was doing potentially to YouTube and make some videos. I just knew I had a passion. I'm really passionate about golf. I love to play it. I love to teach it. It's not just a job. So when I go home, I learn how to teach better. I'm always learning how to play better and all those things. So it's really just this thing that kind of flows out of me that I needed a way to kind of just get some of that information down.
That's cool. And how often do you post? What's your method to that, I guess? Yeah.
So early on, it was probably once every few days or so. And then now I try to do it at least once a day. If I can, to kind of stay on that. A couple times if I've got some good stuff, anytime I'm watching like a Tiger tournament, Tiger always does well on social media. So even you guys, if you post Tiger Woods, it's always kind of my better posts revolve around Tiger. He's just really good for the game in a sense that people still are attracted to him regardless of, kind of his off the course stuff.
Well, and you're our in with Tiger. So we figured once we had you on the show, we would then be able to get
Tiger. I've got a couple connections, I don't know connection or, whatever, 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. But,
sure.
Yeah, unfortunately I don't have a cell phone number, but
that's all right.
How has it helped your business and what do you like business wise? How do you use it?
Sure, it's helped a ton. So I use it for a few ways. It obviously brings a lot of people across really the country, and even some people have flown in across the world to get lessons from me individually. It's allowed me to raise my rates. As well as I have an online business, golfbettertucson.com, where I have a membership site. So I've started to develop, I've got a lot of people who are like, hey, we want more of your information. Can you go more in depth? And I got quite a few requests for that. So I developed a membership site at golfbettertucson.com where people can go and sign up for a lot of my real in-depth videos to get kind of the best information I have. So it really drives people to that site as well, which is another revenue stream.
That's cool. So you have the full multi-layer, the whole
Yeah.
multi-layer course. So you start pretty much with the online course if you wanted.
Yeah, and I do online lessons as well. If people are like, hey, I got this issue with my swing and they live in Italy, we can do FaceTime lessons. I've done that quite a few times with people. Yeah, so we just get right on the phone. I got my phone. They're kind of working through the motion, and I'm kind of their coach saying, okay, we need to feel a little bit more of this. Let's try to do this. And I can kind of guide them in what they want to achieve. It's a little bit easier to do it with some of the short game and putting stuff compared to some of the full swing stuff. But I've done a ton of that as well. That tends to work a little bit better as far as kind of me highlighting some of the things and then making them like a video on kind of what they should do, what drills they should do. But yeah, there's that. There's the membership site. There's in-person lessons, revenue. I can raise my rates as demand's getting quite high at the club as well.
That's
so
crazy.
remarkable. Sorry.
Yeah. No. How do you? What do you do for marketing?
What's that?
What do you do for marketing other than Instagram? Are you?
So just Instagram. I'll do some promotions on Instagram, and Facebook as well. But really, I haven't had to ever promote me teaching golf at the club for about 3 years. I don't think I've had an open slot for lessons in about 2 years.
Nice.
Wow.
Season, I tend to get booked about 2 to 3 months out as far as golf, which is really great. For myself, it's bad for people who are like, hey, can I get a lesson? I'm like, unfortunately, unless I get a cancellation, I can't. But really just free promotion on Instagram, just going through kind of what I do. And then the paid promotions, I think they've got a little bit less value now compared to a couple years ago. I think the Facebook ad was like the best value in marketing potentially is what I've heard from some people smarter than me.
It was. Now as the big players are starting to jump in, and it's changing the game.
It's still great though to compare with the old Yellow Pages days.
Yeah,
TV.
I didn't get the opportunity to do like radio or TV, but from what I've understood, there's just so much better value for your dollar in social media compared to running a TV ad or a newspaper ad or Yellow Page or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, and now, so your Instagram account being what you have 100 and how many 100 and how many thousand?
116, I think, right now.
Okay. You have 116,000 followers. So it's as if you have your own channel. Like you have your own broadcasting network, which is just, it's tremendous. And it didn't become something that had 116,000. I actually should use the term overnight. It sort of did become that way overnight. You had the grind and the work that put you there, but then a unique story that helped really escalate it. Why don't you talk about that? Because it's real fascinating.
There's kind of a bunch of things along the way. So you kind of get associated with the right people that kind of follow some certain people, and you kind of build up. I think you're referring to on Father's Day, I shot a cool video. And again, I just like doing golf stuff. Like I get these ideas when I'm sleeping, like, oh man, that'd be such a cool idea. Just kind of fun. And the video where I'm kind of spelling words, and I just had this idea. I did it actually first on Mother's Day, and a few sites were like, oh, we'll load it up, but then actually didn't. And then on Father's Day, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do the same thing. I think it's great. If no one liked it, I would think it's cool. So, but then Sports Center got a hold of it, and they posted it. And I've heard, and I don't know, I heard it was on ESPN and Sports Center. I don't know. I know it was at least on their social media. So then that got a ton, I don't know, 3 million views or something like that. So that really helped people jump on when you kind of get these waves of people, and that definitely got a lot of attention for sure.
That's so super cool. Would you describe the video? Because I watched it. It's really cool, and we would encourage our listeners to follow you and check it out too. Yeah,
that's great. So essentially, I've got we're in a new place, and we have a small backyard. So 4/5 essentially of our backyard is a putting green, and the wife is cool with that. She knows kind of my business and what I do. So it's this artificial putting green. It's super nice. I love it. I'm out there. I practice on it a ton. It's so cool. And there's this area on it, and a lot of people, everyone just said, "Oh, it's fake, it's photoshopped, et cetera, et cetera." And actually, there's a video on my website that's a tutorial on how I do it. So it's not fake. Again, I tell people if I could Photoshop or video.
Derek?
Uh-oh. Are you frozen? Am I frozen?
Am I frozen? There he is.
Hey.
Sorry about that. We just get bad internet connection here. So
That's all good.
Yeah.
That was great.
All right. Let's go. Let's go for the top of this story. This is a good story. We got the sick putting green.
I got you. Okay. Yeah. So all right. So we got a sweet putting green in the backyard. It's awesome. Good times. We have putting contests back there. It's really cool. So
and your wife doesn't mind it.
Yeah, wife and family. She likes it. At least she says she likes it. So, but her family comes over and we have a lot of fun on it. So,
your wife is like honestly one of the nicest, sweetest women I think I've ever met. Like she's so nice. So his wife works at Whole Foods.
I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you. Say that. I'm very lucky, no doubt. She's great.
You are.
Everyone says that when people see me, they're always like, what does your wife do? She works at Whole Foods. I say, go look up front, look for the most beautiful girl. And then they see her and they're like, no way, dude, what? Something's not adding up here. It's like, oh man. So I've been pulling off for this long. So hopefully we do it a little bit longer. We'll see.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, she's great. She's great.
That's
and
awesome.
then, so I was spelling out some words. And essentially, there's kind of one golf ball left off of the word dad, or the word dad. And I hit this shot with a lot of backspin up into the slope, and it kind of caroms around, and it just fits right into the word to kind of spell it out. So I've done that with a few different ones. It's kind of a fun little shot, and it looks really cool.
That's awesome.
How many times do you have to do it to hit it?
Yeah, so the mom one took a long time. The dad one I got on my 4th try. So
wow.
Very lucky.
Wow.
And then in the tutorial I do it on my 2nd try. So that's not always the case. The mom one, there's a couple I've done where I'm just like, oh man, I need to stop. But that one worked out really well. So it was just kind of meant to be as cool.
That is cool. That's cool that you're able to leverage all this stuff. I mean, I'm sure when you first started doing this, the plan wasn't to have all these different products and services and to be able to, I'm sure the vision back then, you couldn't even imagine this, right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. So I wanted to have a website and, people could kind of check out YouTube videos. Oh, cool. That's awesome. And then my buddy, George Gankis, who in my opinion is like the best golf coach he's become a good friend and he's just fantastic. He started kind of a membership site, and that kind of led some people to say, hey, you should kind of do that same thing. And I was like, oh, okay, let's try it out. And then that's kind of really expanded. So yeah, a lot of things, you just have to kind of be able to go with the flow and see where the demand's at. If someone thought I made a great peanut butter and jelly sandwich and they're like, hey, I'll pay $50 for this. You know what? I'm probably in the sandwich business, but here I am.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of people don't want to go above it. I mean, obviously you're going above and beyond at those early stages. It's more of a passion thing, right?
You're absolutely correct. If I had to do it for something I didn't love to do, it would be a lot of work and I wouldn't want to do it. So stuff like this with golf stuff, there was some times where it's like, man, I'm trying not to post too much stuff. I could do this all day. It's because it is my passion. If I didn't get paid money to do anything and I had to do something, I'd do exactly what I do now. So it's a huge part. And I get to ask that a lot, like, how are you able to do this? And I see there are other golf pros Like, how do you have this passion? And I can just tell him, like, you don't even like the game, do you? Well, no, not really. Well, it's going to be tough. So for me, just, I love the game. I love to play. I love to teach. I love people. And it really helps in that regard. I'm sure with you guys in insurance, you can probably get, anyone can go anywhere for insurance, but it's probably the person and what you guys can offer to them that makes you guys stand out or anything else you guys do, I would guess.
Oh, for sure. Like as we train, I have a separate business where we do the sales training and that's the whole thing. It's how you train the team to interact with the potential clients, right?
Yeah.
If it's just a transaction, why not just go to a Lizard or a Flow, right? But if somebody connects with you, right, and those people, the people that I help train or that other agency owners train or Jason trains his team, if they can feel the passion that he's pushing through to them, and is insurance exciting? Hell no, right? Like nobody wants to talk about insurance. I think people want to go to the insurance agent less than they want to go to the dentist.
Sure, yeah.
But at the same time, if we can, so we're not necessarily, we're passionate about helping them understand that, hey, look, you may never have to discuss this stuff again, but we need to get it done right. And 99% of the time when we look at somebody's stuff, it's done wrong.
Sure, wow.
Right. And so, but you can't convince somebody of that unless you, of course, have the passion to want to help. Right. And that's I think the X factor here for us. And then that's why we do this show, because if we can leave our listeners with one good idea, something to execute on, if they walk away from this hearing Derek, the golf pro, talking about, hey, he just grinded it out. You did something you love. You started posting videos about it and it snowballed.
Yeah.
Right.
100%. And I think you guys are doing great. I've been on quite a few podcasts, and I think you guys' dynamic is as good as any I've been on. I mean, it's really, really enjoyable. So you can tell that you guys just have a successful way about what you guys do. So I like that.
Huh.
For this, honestly, it's like, it's been so much fun for both of us. That's the reason why we do it.
Yeah, you can tell.
And we learn a ton from people, and we get to talk to cool dudes like you. And I mean, what more can you ask for? Gets us out of doing work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's great.
And this is really his office with ET and Alf on the wall.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'd come in there to buy some insurance. That looks great.
Dude, I noticed you got Wario on the back there.
Yeah, so I'm still a kid at heart. That's my Mario poster. I just do Mario. I've always like that stuff. So every year I get the newest, go on Amazon, Mario 2020 posters coming next year. So
the Mario they have now, like you build levels.
Yeah, I haven't.
It's crazy.
I can't imagine. I haven't done any video games here.
Right.
Dude, you got to get a Switch, man.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch.
Well, the wife wants. I think it's the Switch, and we play Mario Kart with my
Yes,
like 3 and 4 year olds. We just dominate them, so we feel really good about that. But yeah, the new Mario Kart is super fun, and that's probably on the list of
that's so funny.
Pretty soon you won't be able to dominate, and then you won't play anymore. Like that's what happened to me. I loved Call of Duty back when it first came out. And then as my son grew up, I could just smoke. It was easy. I'm like, this is great. And then when it flipped and I can't even log on there anymore.
Yeah, you're like, no.
I'm dead before I press start. Like it's forget it. I'm done. It's a waste of time.
Nintendo's always been my favorite, hence the old
love that. Yep.
Poster. But dude, Mario Kart, I'll never forget. They even had I think the old video game store is called Captron, and they had they would get the pre-releases of games. So when the first Mario Kart came out, I remember I kept going to the mall to play it, and all the people in the store would play it. It was awesome. And to this day, like I will buy a system. I literally bought that system for that game. I rarely ever play it at all, but I had to do it.
Yeah, I've always liked that game. Yeah, when the Nintendo 64 came out,
Oh yeah,
that game it was just the best.
still is, man. I wish I had all my old systems.
Yeah, they have that Nintendo, that throwback one. We bought that, and we got the Super Nintendo. You can get those at Target for like $50. So it's brings a little bit of nostalgia back. So it's pretty cool.
That's cool. I got to get one of those. Well, so Derek, if you could impart just some wisdom on maybe something that just started an agency or anything, like for a young business owner, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, so I think one of the best experiences I had was in college. I worked this job for a well-known company, and we kind of packed and did their shipping stuff, and I hated it so much. And I thought if I had to do this, I couldn't do it. I mean, it was you had these typical mean bosses. I mean, it was so funny, and I couldn't imagine. Because you would just literally live for the weekends and then you go back, and it would just be a cycle. And that's kind of when I said to myself, okay, even if I get paid so little, I can't have to do something I like to do. I have to. So that's kind of when I got into the golf industry. I worked for a really great guy back home, a mentor of mine, Steve. And that kind of showed me that, man, you can enjoy your work. And that allowed me to bring passion into my work, and that's been huge. So the first thing I would say is, if you're going to start a business, it better be something that you would love to do. And even if you make a little bit, little money, but your passion is going to be overriding that, and you're still going to enjoy it. So that's been a huge part. And then also, when I started out, I was really just doing it to just to do it and doing it for me. So if I liked what I was producing, it was successful, no matter if no one liked it, no matter if everyone liked it. If I was kind of staying true to what I thought and I liked it, then is successful. So those would be kind of some of the keys I think that have really helped myself.
That's awesome. And I know there's a lot of dudes that love golf. So there's going to be a lot of people that want to look you up. What are all the ways that everybody can get a hold of you and be a part of your programs? Yeah,
so golfbettertucson.com. That's my website. You can contact me through there. You can find Golf Better Tucson on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. If you just kind of look up Golf Better Tucson, that is going to be the best way to find out more about myself.
Awesome,
man. Love it.
And I'm sure all of your followers are going to love to listen to this podcast.
You know what? They're pretty true. So that they like quite a few of the others. I think they'll like this one.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Derek. I know you're busy, and you had the tournament last week. Did you win?
So no, golf's so weird. So I played really well the week before, and I was like, yeah, this feels great. And then I played bad last week, and then I've got another tournament, Arizona Open next week, which is
cool.
So yeah, I still love to compete, and even when you kind of have a bad round or you have a bad, a bad quarter for business, I guess you can kind of say, okay, what do I need to do better? So I never really mind playing bad, because it usually helps what's coming up next. So I can rather than just say, oh, I'm bad, I can say, okay, what went off? How can I rectify this? And how can I improve from there?
Awesome. Glass is half full.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to. Well, thank you so much, man. It's awesome having you on. I'm going to thank Erin, because she's the one that helped make this connection.
Do that, yes.
My acai bowls I get at Whole Foods. And take care, man. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thanks so much, guys.
55% of insurance sales producers say that they have had little or no sales training. Us agents focus on marketing to drive activity and often overlook the sales presentation. Improvements in mindset, shifting focus, rapport, needs diagnosis, value building, creating buy-in, and overcoming objections lead to drastically better closing numbers. The solution? Enroll your team in September's Sales Summit offered by Agency Vault. We will even assess your team to see which of their sales steps need the most improvement. Head to agencyvault.com to sign up before it's full.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Insurance Dudes. Hey, please subscribe. We got some really great stuff coming out.